Welcome to the Brooklyn Center City Council Candidate Forum. I am Jill Johnson. I'm the Executive Director for the North Hennepin Area Chamber, and thank you all for attending this evening. The North Hennepin Area Chamber and the League of Women Voters of Brooklyn Park, Osseo, and Maple Grove are co-sponsoring this candidate forum to encourage voters' interest in the upcoming election on November 6th. Neither organization endorses any of the candidates for office. We would like to thank the City of Brooklyn Center for the use of their facility for this forum and Northwest Community Television, Channel 12, for their support in televising this event live and for their scheduling of the cablecast broadcasts, replays. It is now my pleasure to introduce President Eleanor Johnson, representing the League of Women Voters for our area. Please welcome Eleanor.
I'd like to also thank the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce for co-sponsoring this and Channel 12. The candidate forums are an excellent way for the community to get involved in the election, to get to know the individuals that are running for office so that it can provide you with knowledge when you go to make your vote in November. Our moderator tonight will be asking questions that we collect from the audience here. If you have a question, please write it down on a card. We will collect it and get it to the moderator. Be sure that your question has not already been asked, and be sure that it's not a personal attack on any of the candidates. If you would like to submit a question, please write it down, and the earlier we get your questions, the more likely they will get answered. So now I'd like to introduce our moderator for this evening, Linda Freeman. She is a member of our Brooklyn Park Osseo Maple Grove League and lives in Brooklyn Park. We are pleased to have you here, Linda.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, I would like to welcome you to the Candidates Forum this evening. The League of Women Voters is an organization that is nonpartisan and volunteer-based. It is organized at the local, state, and national level to encourage citizens to participate in government. While the LWV members do study and take stands on issues, we do not endorse or support political parties or candidates. The LWV does encourage its members as individuals, as we encourage each of you to get involved in your community and political party of your choice. However, the views expressed in this forum are those of the individual candidates and not those of the League of Women Voters. By sponsoring this forum this evening, the League provides an opportunity for citizen participation and exposure to candidates, but does not provide an endorsement of any candidate or candidates. All viable candidates have been invited to participate this evening, and tonight's forum will be for the Brooklyn Center City Council. And the candidates will start with 4 of the 5 questions they received in advance, which they have 1 minute to respond. Then our candidates will have up to 30 seconds to respond to each of the questions that are coming from the audience. Finally, they will be given 1 minute for the final question that is their final statements. Candidates, the League would like to request you to refrain from making any personal attacks on your fellow candidates. I'd like to take this moment to point out our timekeepers for this evening. They will show you when you have 15 seconds to finish your statements, then show you that your time has expired. Please finish your sentence at that time, as I will be directing the speaker's turn. The order has been randomly selected, and the first question, I'll just start here and go that way. For the audience, please remember to turn off all communication devices at this time, and there will be no photography or filming for the duration of the forum. And I'd like to announce the candidates. First we have Renita Whicker, and then we have Lin Myszkowski and Kris Lawrence-Anderson. Are we ready? First question will go to Renita. Please tell us about your background and your previous city involvement that support your candidacy for this position.
Good evening. My name is Renita Whicker, and I've made my home in Brooklyn Center with my kids about 10 years ago. I support DFL candidates on all levels, and I'm union affiliated, and I'm involved. My city involvement is I'm a member of the Charter Commission and a volunteer with churches and other communities. I'm also a member of SEIU Local 26, where I'm a delegate, AFAM Caucus, where I'm a vice president, and also organizer for Local 284. Thank you.
And Lynn, would you also like to answer that?
Yes, a special thank you to the League of Women Voters as well as the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce for giving us this opportunity this evening. I'm Brooklyn Center City Council member Lin Myszkowski, and I was elected last January in a special election. Prior to my service on the City Council, I served on the Osseo School Board. I've lived in Brooklyn Center for 40 years. I grew up here and attended Park Center. I have degrees from Bemidji State University and Indiana University, where I studied vocal performance. And today I'm a self-employed singing teacher. After completing school, my husband John and I decided to settle in Brooklyn Center, and we ended up buying our home from my parents. So our children are being raised in the same place where I was, and they attended the same schools that I did. I was honored from 2006 to 2011 to serve on the Osseo School Board. Last August, when the seat opened up in Brooklyn Center, I didn't hesitate because I love my city and I have a strong desire to see the redevelopment through. I have a lot to learn, but I bring a lot of skills to the job. Thank you.
Kris?
Thank you. I'd also like to note that it is 9/11, and I've kind of neglected to really ponder that today, but just maybe sometime today, make sure you think about that. My husband Gary and I got married 26 years ago and chose Brooklyn Center as our home 25 years ago, and have chosen to make this our home and raise our children here. Our children both went to Odyssey Academy from kindergarten through 8 and are now both open enrollment at Brooklyn Center High School. Our son is a senior, and our daughter Hallie is a sophomore. We have 3 rescue pets, so 2 dogs and a cat. I have been a volunteer in Brooklyn Center since 1999. I started off with CPAC with District 279, and I represented Fair Oaks. I also am on the Housing Commission for Brooklyn Center. I chair the commission now and have done so since 2010. I'm also an advocate for LifeSource, and I'm on Odyssey Academy's Board of Directors.
Okay, thank you. Question number 2 will go to Kris again. What do you see as the strengths of Brooklyn Center? How would you characterize the mood of the city's citizens today?
Excuse me, are these 30-second questions?
These are the 30-second questions.
Oh, these are 30?
Wait, nope, sorry.
Still 1 minute.
So 1 minute?
1 minute.
Okay, great. Our strengths, again, I go back to why we chose Brooklyn Center. We chose Brooklyn Center because of the location. First off, we were brand newly married, and we wanted to be 45 minutes away from both families. So we took the map out, and we looked at the center, and it's like, here we go. Now what city do we want? And then we looked at freeway systems and schools and parks, and we chose Brooklyn Center for those reasons. So that's one of the things I think we need to be very proud of. Our location, the quality housing stock, the 458 acres of parks we have, and the reductions in crime we've seen in recent years. I think our city staff and council have done a great job to jumpstart our economy and our community and redevelopment. Now is the time to expand on that momentum. As for the mood, I know firsthand going door to door with the new neighbor welcome bags, people are excited and they're very energized about Brooklyn Center today. Thank you.
And Lynn?
Well, if I were attempting to recruit somebody to purchase a home in Brooklyn Center, I would start out the same way that Kris did and say, location. It's a wonderful first-ring suburb. You can literally get to anywhere from here. But I would talk about our parks, too, our beautiful parks. I would talk about the charming homes and the lovely neighborhoods. And I would talk about what a safe place it's been for us to raise our family. But I'd also talk about the people that live here. We are so fortunate here because we have a broad diversity of people. We have babies. We have people that are over 100 years old that are still living in our homes. We have people from all over the world, people that are so resilient, people that I have been fortunate enough to know that have changed the way I see the world. As far as the mood, most people are very positive, but they all have a healthy dose of skepticism that things are going to continue to go well, and I'm proud to say that we're moving in the right direction.
And Renita?
Okay, I was attracted to Brooklyn Center because it was quiet, it's beautiful, and I like it because it was safe, and then my kids had nice schools to go to. And we're 52% multicultural, and that right there is potential for growth. And I would like to say that, for us, the mood here, I believe that people are moody and in different moods, but we're hopeful, and they're ready for change. And we have our new Walmart to look forward to, Best Buy Mobile to look forward to. So I think people is up on the upswing about that, and they're glad to see that's coming to Brooklyn Center.
Question number 3, and this time we'll start with Renita. What would you like to change or see done differently, and what are your top 3 priorities if elected?
I'd like to see us embracing and the change in the demographic areas here in Brooklyn Center, because like I just said, we're 52% multicultural, and we need to embrace the different cultural backgrounds, really get to know them, understand them, get to so we can do to help them, to reach out to them and have a relationship with them and grow them and benefit, see how we can benefit from them as well as they can benefit from us. The 3 priorities is creating jobs, livable wages, and the new development, the prospect of surrounding many new business in the Shingle Creek crossing retail area, and to encourage Mr. Omar of Shirley Brewery to continue to make Minnesota his home here, and welcoming our Best Buy Mobile by the Leanne Chin, and also our new Walmart.
Okay, and Kris, you can go second.
Certainly. I believe that our city staff and council in recent years have done a very good job of generating redevelopment within our city. Now is the time to seize the day and focus our energy on reinventing Brooklyn Center. One change I'd like to see is an aggressive marketing campaign to highlight all of the wonderful attributes that we have in Brooklyn Center. I'm proud to call Brooklyn Center my home, but I'm tired of the outsiders' misconceptions of our city. So that is one thing that I think is really key, and I think the time is right. And with everything that's happening in the redevelopment, now is the time to focus on that. Certainly other priorities are redevelopment, continue to fill the vacancies, and to create more jobs, reduce the taxes of both our residents as well as our local businesses. Work to include and nurture the diversity and the richness of our neighborhoods, I think, is a very important issue, as well as continuing to maintain the code enforcement to improve and maintain our building stock. Thank you.
Okay, question number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Lynn, your turn.
All right. If I could see anything, something that I would like to see changed and done differently is I wish that we could instantly become a truly inclusive community. We, as has already been stated, we have more people of color in our community than we have Caucasian people. What a fabulous opportunity. I would hope that whenever anybody walks in and asks for service here at the city, that they would always understand what was going on, that if they didn't understand, instructions would be offered in their own language. I would hope that we would be able to see our stakeholder group, all of our stakeholder groups fully integrated into commissions and things such as that. As far as my top 3 priorities, it would be to keep the momentum going on the redevelopment, to continue revitalizing and stabilizing our neighborhoods, and to continue to ensure a safe and secure community, because that's the stuff that changes our image.
Okay. Question number 4. And I'll let you go first, Lynn, since I almost didn't give you a turn.
Thank you.
Okay. And It's our city government serves families with varying financial and cultural backgrounds. In what way will you reach out to best understand their needs?
Well, I'm fortunate in that as a school board member, I got to know the families in the area, and of course any parent that's active in schools gets to know a wide variety of families here. In the city, we're fortunate that we have a multicultural advisory council that has just broken off from the one that met in Brooklyn Park. So now Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center have separate ones. So I can hardly wait to get started going to those meetings regularly. And I'm also a board member for SEEP. I'm the vice chair-elect for SEEP. So I know very well the struggles of our families. But more importantly, I think we all need to reach out and create personal relationships with people that are different than we are. It takes trust in order for people to share their stories so that you can fully understand what their needs are.
Thank you. And Renita, you can go second.
Okay, have town hall meetings to hear from them regarding their different concerns, their issues, and other opportunities that can be available to help them. And I think that's important because, again, with them having a different background culture, you'll be surprised to learn and know what they, with maybe they different holidays, what they celebrate, what they eat, what they don't eat. These little things, little matters like that, that's key to us that we should, know and observe and respect on that level. And we have the 6 different elementary schools, and they're less than 6% white, and we should assist schools that have the higher diversity, because that's where our future lies in our school children, and we should support them. We should reach out to them. We try to understand them, embrace them, assist them in every way we can, because when you look at it, they're our future, and they're our future voters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kris?
Thank you. We all know we're in a diverse community, and I think we need to embrace and the new Americans that we have here. As far as my personal opinion, I've always been one to nurture relationships with everyone. I've taught my children to be colorblind. Their friends come from all different ethnicities and religions, and I'm very, very proud of that. As far as a specific way in which to do so, I don't know exactly. I think that there could be a greater affiliation with MAC, as well as perhaps even like the Housing Commission with the New Neighbor Welcome Program, if we could expand that to a little bit more directly focused to various languages, where maybe we could reach out and have them available at City Hall in those different languages. I think it's really important to just embrace the richness of our diversity. And if all else fails and you can't say hi to someone, smile and just mean it. Thanks.
Okay, question number 5, and we'll start with Renita. Local businesses are taxpayers, but often not voting residents. In what way will you reach out to best understand their needs and provide for fair representation in city council decision-making?
First thing, I think we should get some of those laws changed, if not all. Change some of the laws with the legislators, and that's on a local level. Some businesses want to give back to the community. We should try to engage them as much as possible in what different areas that they're trying to reach out to help us, and we need to encourage and participate and to help build our community programs for our youth and our senior citizens. And we need to focus on those youth. Again, we have about 1/3 of them that's under the age of 20, and we know that they are our future voters.
Thank you. And Lynn?
I am so grateful for the vitality that our businesses bring to our city. We are fortunate that we have some very active business/civic organizations in the community. We have the Chamber, Brooklyn Center Business Association, and the Rotary. It's a great place to get to know business owners, but it's certainly not all of the business owners in the city participate. I have found that having conversations when I'm in a business are very helpful. I think in particular for some of our ethnic businesses, it means a lot to them to find out how they're doing. Again, it's another issue where you really need to create a situation where you can have a personal relationship with people. But I will tell you, business owners do manage to find the city council if they have an issue.
And Kris.
Thanks. I think building good partnerships with our business community as well as our city government is very important. I have been a member of the BCBA for a year. That's Brooklyn Center Business Association. And so I've come to learn a lot of our local businesses and hear their concerns. I think that's one of the biggest things, is making sure they understand that we do hear what they're saying. The BCBA is implementing a new program called Grow with Brooklyn Center, and I have volunteered to help with delivering these plants to various local businesses to appreciate them and thank them for staying in Brooklyn Center. I would also support innovative efforts where we bring the community together as well as the business community, perhaps like an expo. It could be something as simple as either the Chamber or the BCBA bringing all the businesses together, a nominal fee that could go back to the BCBA, and maybe a portion could go back into Earl Brown Days, which needs money.
Okay, thank you. Now we are going to take questions from the audience, and those will be the ones that you have 30 seconds to answer. And question number 1, we'll start with Kris again.
Okay.
How will you, as one person on the City Council, make a difference in our community?
I will make a difference in our community because I truly care. I will listen, and I will find, for those of you that know me, I like to find solutions. I don't like to look at problems. Let's solve the problem. So if we need to do something differently, let's think creatively and make it happen.
Okay, and Renita, do you want me to repeat the
Yes,
question?
please.
How will you, as one person on the City Council, make a difference in our community?
Well, I hope I can make that difference by addressing those concerns, those needs, those issues, and what they want to see solved in those matters, the goals reached and things changed that they would like for us to do to help them, whatever benefits the people.
Okay, and Lynn?
Would you read it one more time, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
How will you, as one person on the City Council, make a difference in our community?
I think that the most important skill that any sort of elected official can possess is that of being a good listener and being available. I also have an enormous amount of energy, and I feel so positive about the future of this city. We are the leaders. The City Council and the Mayor are the leaders of the city, and I would hope that the example would rub off on the community.
Okay, and this question from the audience, I will start with Lynn. What can the City Council do to engage our culturally diverse population and bring them together?
We've already talked about this. I'm planning to start at the MAC, at the Multicultural Advisory Council. But I think it's important to really get out into the community. We're often invited to various festivals and other activities and things like that. And of course, I personally have connections throughout the community. But yes, we need to become more inclusive. It needs to become a culture.
And Kris, what can the City Council do to engage our culturally diverse population and bring them together?
I think it always goes back to bringing people together. We always do it very well at National Night Out, but there could certainly be other events throughout the year that could be sponsored by the faith community, schools, where they just bring people together and celebrate all of the different things that are going on with these individuals, our new Americans, and some of our existing. Thank you.
Renita?
I touched on it earlier about the town hall meetings. Also, they have a lot of things they celebrate. Just get yourself out there, play the role, be a representative, get involved in their communities. When they have different things that they put out there that they haven't, go to them and be part of it so you get to learn it. And, thank you.
And this question will start with Kris. What is your financial background in putting together budgets?
I have a background in operations. I currently am vice president for a manufacturing company in Golden Valley. So I'm very familiar with the P&L, know how to operate, as well as on Odyssey Academy, the school board deal with budgets all the time, and they have a 10% fund reserve right now.
Okay, and Lynn?
I served 4 or 5 years on the Osseo School Board. I'm very familiar with statutory boundaries that municipalities are able to, that they cannot cross. I understand various funding measures. The Osseo School District's budget is about 10 times bigger than the City of Brooklyn Center, so I have some significant experience.
And Renita?
I don't have that significant experience in budgeting, but I budget my household, and I have worked with different ones in achieving a budget when we do some traveling and some stuff with the union. So that's most of my budgeting experience.
Okay, and the next question, we'll start with Lynn. What is your plan to assist seniors in our city?
That is such a great question. I think this is tough because seniors aren't often out and about. Some are, but I'm finding as I'm door knocking that there are a lot of people that are in their homes, and I think they're alone a lot of the time. We really need to reach out. We need to use those tools that, for instance, SEAT provides, going into the home and cleaning, Meals on Wheels, that kind of thing. I think we should have some sort of senior congress here in the city.
Okay, and Renita?
Heading down that road myself. I would love for some company, get our youth involved, the young people. I hear that PATs are good therapy, so that would be a good thing to have company for our youth. And our seniors, check on them from time to time, because they embrace that. They like to hear from you.
And Kris?
It is an excellent question, and with the aging population in Brooklyn Center, it's a very valid question. Having a mother that lives alone, you worry, is someone going to help mow or do the driveway? I think one thing I would like to see is far more involvement at the school level to get these kids involved in volunteering to help our seniors. I know my son did it just on a personal level as a neighbor, and it meant the world to them, and it was a valuable experience for him. So I think the schools are a good resource we can tap.
Okay. And the next question, I will start with Renita. What is your understanding of the Metropolitan Council and how they interact with our city?
In making some of the decisions, addressing some of the issues in the community from the taxpayers, from people, from businesses, from on a personal level, on a political level, different things like that.
Okay, and Kris?
I don't know that I'm all that familiar with what the Met Council does. I know we have a bus hub here that we didn't want, but no, I guess I'm going to have to refrain.
Okay. Lynn?
Well, they do things like waste management. Cities have to turn in a comprehensive plan, and they have to approve it so that it meshes with all of the communities that are encompassed. They have been a wonderful partner for the City of Brooklyn Center in helping to leverage dollars for soil remediation. For us, they do a lot of things that I have not mentioned in my 30 seconds.
Okay, and the next question, we'll start with you again, Lynn. What has the city done to encourage organizations to provide programs for the youth in our community?
Well, the city is a part of the Brooklyn Bridge Alliance for Youth. It was started about 3 years ago. It's Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, higher ed institutions, our school districts, and right now they are exploring ways that we can maximize our dollars so that kids can really be involved. We know that kids are one of the biggest crime problems. They don't have anything to do in this city. And the city has also been a partner with the Brooklyn Center High School.
Okay. And Kris?
Could you repeat it, please?
What has the city done to encourage organizations to provide programs for the youth in our community?
It's the city. I apologize. My daughter's pills. Sorry about that. What has the city done to help children organizations? Is that what your question was?
Done to encourage organizations to provide programs for the youth in our community.
Well, certainly Brooklyn Center High School has been a huge catalyst in receiving grants and giving children a lot of opportunities at the school level. The brand-new building, as well as the Health Resource Center, certainly helps our families in our community. And I think just our Parks and Rec, we have a beautiful community center, and we do a lot here for the kids as well.
Okay. Renita?
And whatever funding, they give to these organizations, that helps the youth to get involved. Like you said before, that's keeping the crime low and giving them more to do. I would like to see more activities come to play here for the youth. We have a nice movie house here that's not hardly used, a skating ring. So, the finances for that would be great.
Okay. And we'll start with Kris on this next question. What is your position on the charter amendment to add wards, and why?
My position on wards is that it is on the ballot and it will be addressed by the voters this year. If I have to give a personal opinion, I think that it's a valid point in some cities and in certain circumstances. But at this point in time, I don't believe Brooklyn Center, this is the right time.
And Lynn?
I've already said publicly that I oppose it. I don't see that it's necessary in a city of this size. As a candidate, it took me about 5 weeks to get around the city the first time, and I don't see that it benefits the city as a whole in that we would lose the broader representation of having 5 people represent everybody in the city.
And Renita?
I am glad it is on the ballot to be the citizen's choice. It could be beneficial both ways. I believe it should be more clarity on it. Is it going to benefit the city, or is it benefiting the community?
Okay, and we'll start with Kris on the next question. How do you reconcile and explain Brooklyn Center's expenditures on police with the crime rate?
I think that's a difficult question to answer without seeing a budget or something in front of it.
Stats.
I don't know how to respond to that. I know that I believe our police department is doing a phenomenal job and crime is down, but I don't know what the expenditures are to be able to validly answer that question.
Renita?
I agree. Without nothing to compare it to, I can give a valid answer. But I think they're doing a fantastic job.
Okay, Lynn?
Well, it is our largest expenditure in the city, and the crime rate is down because the police department is so good and they prevent crime. They have a community policing program that's creating those relationships, that's stopping crime, and I think that the citizens wouldn't want to see a decreased police force.
Okay, and Lynn, we'll start with you again. What type of housing development do you support for the future growth of Brooklyn Center? For example, single, multifamily, senior housing, and why?
Well, I would like to see some more multifamily housing that's multiple use. Perhaps shops, that sort of thing. I've had several people tell me while I'm door knocking that they really have an interest in housing that is dedicated to 55 and older, where amenities are close by and it's a walkable community. I think it's a pretty exciting prospect.
Okay, and Kris?
Yes. One more time, please.
What type of housing development do you support for the future growth of Brooklyn Center? For example, single, multifamily, or senior housing, and why?
Okay. I think the biggest concern we need to focus on would be the senior housing or above 55. It's something that we've talked about at a city level in the Housing Commission for umpteen years, and I think that as our new opportunity sites get developed, that needs to be a key point where the seniors that have lived here for 50 years still can stay in Brooklyn Center in assisted living or senior living.
And Renita?
And I agree. I like to see more senior housing because we the first one to get boot to the nursing homes. So I think that would be a good thing to have more senior housing.
Okay. And Renita, we'll start with you again. What is your observation of our city parks? Do you think they need improvement? Why or why not?
Well, there's always room for improvement. The greenery, I believe they kept up pretty nice considering, with the much as they're being used. I think they're doing a great job with that.
And Lynn?
Well, there are certainly situations that warrant special attention for some of our parks. Some of them have a lot of litter. It would be nice. I think the Parks Department does a really good job of keeping them up. By and large, they're beautiful parks, and I love to visit them and see the different amenities and the different scenery and the different wildlife and foliage. I think we're really lucky in this city to have beautiful parks.
And Kris?
And what was it, what we like about our parks?
What is your observation of our city parks? Do you think they need improvement? Why or why not?
Thanks. I think for the most part we have phenomenal parks. I love it. I think our Parks and Rec director is doing an excellent job. In fact, I happened to drive by Wagstead Park a few weeks ago and noticed that the hoop was missing, and I let him know, and 2 days later it was back. Now, unfortunately, I was there last week and it's gone again, but I think they're doing a marvelous job, and I think it's one of our greatest amenities in Brooklyn Center.
Okay, the next question, we'll start with Lynn. Do you support the current growth plan for the Brookdale area? Why or why not?
I frankly am comfortable with it. I think it makes sense. I think we're going to have to be patient to see if it pans out the way it's planned, but I'm confident that it will.
Okay, and Kris? Do you want me to repeat the question?
Please.
Do you support the current growth plan for the Brookdale area? Why or why not?
Yes, I do. I think that we have our anchor Walmart, and I think that after that happens, the rest will come, and I would just like to see a really good mix of various restaurants and not just drive-through fast food. That would be my preference, but I think that as soon as that area is stimulated, the other opportunity sites will fill as well, and I think it'll be very beneficial for us.
Renita?
And growth is good. That's what's going to create our jobs, so you can't ask for nothing any better than that. Yes, growth is good. I'm definitely on board with that.
Okay. And we'll start with Kris this time. What areas of our local government would you cut to balance or eliminate waste of tax dollars?
Again, without looking at a budget, that's a difficult question. I guess I would say if I were looking at the budget and I saw things that were out of line versus the services that were provided, that you would make cuts. But without seeing specifically what you're referring to, it's a difficult thing to answer. But certainly no one wants waste in our budgets, and we would certainly want to use our taxpayer money wisely.
And Renita?
I agree. We need some stats in front of us to see that, to make that determination. But no, I don't feel like I tax dollars. I work too hard for my money to go to waste.
And Lynn?
Well, considering last night we approved the preliminary budget for 2013, I would say that we've probably belt-tightened about as much as we possibly can without significant changes to the level of service that the city is currently providing. I think that it would actually, in order to do something like that, I think we'd have to ask the citizens what they would like, where they would like to see diminished service, where it would be acceptable.
Okay. And Kris, we'll start with you this time. How will you use your talents to promote the City of Brooklyn Center as a business-friendly community and a family-friendly community?
Oh, gosh, I could do that in a heartbeat. Again, I love the BCBA. I have a business background. I have 2 kids. One of just came through a volleyball game. I love my parks, I love my community, I love Brooklyn Center, and that is absolutely a no-brainer. I can be an ambassador in a heartbeat.
And Lynn?
You know, when we first moved back here, my parents did not want us to buy the house because they didn't like how the city was changing. And I have to tell you, I am in love with this city. I will not leave this city. I just think we have so much going for us, and I hear it constantly from new people that have moved in. People told me not to move here. They said it wasn't safe. It's so quiet, and everybody's so friendly, and it's family-friendly. This is a great place to live.
Renita?
Yes, I love Brooklyn Center. I love the location, and I have no problem with getting out there. I'm a people person, and I'll walk up to you and say anything to you at any given time of day or night. That's just me. That's just my personality in me, and I love it here. Beautiful.
Okay. We will start with Lynn. How well do you know the voters and their needs? How did you learn about them firsthand?
The voters and their needs? Well, I've been door knocking just nearly every day, and I always end my my time with them by saying, how are you feeling about the city? Do you have any questions or comments? I feel that if there's any demographic that I don't have, it's probably people that live in apartments. It's incredibly difficult to get into apartments. But I would say that I know the voters pretty darn well.
Okay. We'll start with Lynn again.
Okay.
How well do you, oh, geez, Louise, sorry. Okay. We'll start over. What will you do to reinforce a positive police and community interactions?
Is that for me?
Yes, please.
Positive police and community interactions. Well, we have a great police chief, and if there is any sort of issue out there, if a council member hears of things, there's no reason why we can't go to the police chief and ask about it. My expectation is that everybody will be treated fairly and lawfully in this city.
Okay. Okay, thanks. All right, we're going to go back to the other question. Renita, how well do you know the voters and their needs, and how did you learn about them firsthand?
I don't know a lot of the voters. I'm getting to know them. I registered some voters, and then they made comments as I was speaking to them when we were getting them registered on some issues and comments, concerns they had in the Brooklyn Center area. And I'm doing some door knocking. I'm meeting some people. I miss some people, but I'm hearing getting a lot of feedback from that way too.
Thank you. And Kris, how well do you know the voters and their needs, and how did you learn about them?
Well, being as I've volunteered in the city since 1999, I talk to a lot of people. My kids hate to go to the store with me because we're chatting about everything at the park. I just take an opportunity to engage conversations with people wherever I am, whether it's door knocking or whether it's at the grocery store. I think it's important to someone said once, if you listen to someone long enough, you'll hear something very interesting from that person.
Okay, and Renita, what will you do to reinforce a positive police and community presence?
Police and community presence. We have the night out. We could have them to make pit stops in all the little spots in certain areas in the community to introduce themselves, and they can get to know them, and as well as the community and the different areas in the community that they can go around and visit. I think that would be a good way of, getting out and getting to know the people and the citizens, the public, and the communities.
Okay. And Kris.
Well, I think our police department, and especially our chief, already does a really good job of having that positive relationship with the community. We do the parks visits four nights a year. I missed the one tonight because I'm here. And I know that the police are often asked to visit in the schools and just engage the kids in just normal conversational dialogue. So I think they're doing a good job.
Okay. And now we've reached the point where we're at the final statement. So we'll start with Lynn. And this is where you have a minute again.
Okay, thank you. How do I intend to best serve this city and move it forward? I'm going to continue going out and listening to people. I'm going to continue engaging stakeholders that often aren't included in our discussions. I think I will continue to listen. I will use the experience that I gleaned during my time as a school board member and now as a city council member. I will take advantage of the experts around me. I will continue to do my homework so that I understand the issues, and I want people to know that I'm accessible to them, that they can come to me. When I'm door knocking, I actually point out at the bottom of my piece, I say, this is my home phone number. If you have any questions, give me a call. It's that important because I really love this city and I am waiting to see it thrive once again, and I will work tirelessly to continue to change the image to something amazing, which is what the city deserves.
And Renita.
Okay. Best serve the community.
How do you intend to best serve this city and move it forward?
Okay. By being invested, by representing the 99%, because I'm part of that 99%, embrace the diversity in our community and put myself in a role representation position. Also, I like for the community and people to hold me accountable, and I'll be open to any concerns, any issues, and things I don't know about. Please feel free to contact me and let me know when we can discuss some things. And my number is available. I'm listed in the phone book and my address and everything out there. I'm open book, so feel free to come to me.
And Kris.
Thank you. Well, I love Brooklyn Center, and if elected, I will be honored to serve and be a loyal ambassador for Brooklyn Center. Because I care, I will utilize common sense, be available, be respectful, be empathetic, and use solutions to the issues. Use very solid solutions. Brooklyn Center is a diamond in the rough, and it's a city I'm very proud to be part of. And I think if we work together and unify, we can make it a better place for all of us to live, work, and play. So join me in uniting Brooklyn Center. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this concludes our question and answers tonight. And I think I owe Renita an apology. I might have mispronounced your name. Renita Whicker,
Yes.
right? Okay. And once again, on behalf of the League of Women Voters and the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank the candidates for agreeing to participate in tonight's forum. I would also like to thank the voters for attending and participating by submitting excellent questions, and I'd like to thank the viewing audience as well. Remember that if we could not get to your question tonight, or if you have any further questions for the candidates, we invite you to contact them directly with your concerns. Please remember to get out and vote on November 6th. Your vote truly does count. Thank you and have a great evening.